Are you dealing with unresolved emotional patterns? Are you coming up against blocks every time you're trying to make a big change in your life? Are you self-sabotaging your change? If any of this applies to you, this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. And I'm going to give some tips on how you can change it. So stay tuned. Hi, my name is Marie. Welcome to this channel. I'm so glad you're here. I'm happy. And today we're going to learn something really exciting. And I'm going to go through the different kind of steps for you to figure out what it is that applies to you. So let's say you have patterns, emotional patterns that you want to try to get out of. And it really could be anything. It could be that you have codependency. It could be that you've realized that you have all this grief that you're constantly battling up against. It could be that you have a hard time connecting to other people. You kind of have fear in that area. Or it could be emotional patterns such as you get angry really quickly. And I'll use anger as an example because that's something that I've been working with a lot myself. So for example, what I've noticed about myself is that when I felt like I was out of control, like things were not going the way that I wanted to, I would really quickly kind of flare up into anger. And that anger was being used so that I could start to try to control the situation again, right? I would kind of tell other people like, oh, that's not right, or why are you doing this? And I would so quickly move into that anger on a day-to-day basis that it was incredibly hard for me to stop it. And I'm sure you feel the same way, like when your grief sets in, when your kind of codependency pattern sets in, when you start to feel that, that you can't relate to people, you can't communicate. Those things are patterns that happen so spontaneously and so quickly that it's hard for you to be able to stop it. You might be able to watch it, and say, oh, this is happening again right now. But in terms of for anger for me, I wasn't able to really stop it. And I'm still not always able to stop it, but it's like there's something that I'm really working on. So what I wanted to tell you today is that in terms of your inner child healing, which is basically what this really can relate to, it could be something that's a very deep wound, and that's what I'm suggesting in this movie. So the other day, I had a session with a psychic healer, and we went down into like a basic emotion, and we picked anger because that's what's the first one that came up for me. And then we started going deep into what that anger was and how it felt, and I went into kind of like my 3-year-old self that was feeling this anger, that was scared, that felt out of control because my parents were fighting and I didn't know what to do about it. So we went really deep into that emotion in a specific place in my body. And then we talked about how that emotion how it arose, how I felt like it at the time, and what I needed now in order for that to heal. So what I needed now was for my mom to give me a big hug. Like in, the session that we're going through, we're kind of imagining my mom giving me a big hug and saying, everything's okay. You're only 3 years old. This is not about you. We're trying to, and really listening to all of my emotions. And as we went through that talk, I could feel that, because it was located in my stomach, I could feel that energy just release throughout my entire body. And it felt completely different. Like that kind of heaviness just was dissipated, and it felt amazing. So I think in that case, to talk to kind of like that inner part of you was very important for me. And I'm going to record an inner child video meditation where you can do the same thing like I just did the other day, so that you can release that inner child, hurt from yourself. But let's say it's not an emotional pattern you're up against. Maybe it's a block, or maybe you're always procrastinating. Like maybe you're meant for something in this life, but you're always kind of coming up against this resistance wall when you feel like you're moving in the right direction, right? That could also be something that you're dealing with. And in this case, there's another strategy you could use. I mean, you could probably also use the same strategy, but I want to give you as much as possible here. So let's say that you feel like you feel abandoned, right? That's a very common feeling. You feel like maybe you even abandoned yourself, which was the case for me. So I went on this shamanic journey where I was taken down. Like a lot of times you go up to a tree, you go down all the way through that tree, all the way down to like a stream. And then I went down that stream and I met the person that was a part of myself, an inner child part of myself that decided to leave because I basically abandoned that part. I basically said, this is not going to work for me. You have to go, right? So I welcomed that part back into my life, kind of that inner fractal of me. And it was, that child decided, it was older. It wasn't 3 years old anymore. This was an older child. I would say maybe like 11, 12, 13. And this child decided to come back up with me to the surface. And all that this fractal of me wanted was for me to see it, to be close to it, to love it, right? So that was another, and then as I felt that sense of abandonment started to disappear, right? So as you start to heal these parts of yourself. So my point is that you're the adult now, but you have all these parts of yourself that are inner children at certain particular ages where things happen to you. Maybe your parents did something, maybe friends did something, you abandoned yourself, or you kind of took that part of yourself and you tuck it really deep in so you didn't have to look at it, like the case for me when I had it in my stomach, right? So there's all these different techniques that we can use in order to remove those parts of ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 tips now on how to work with it. Number 1 is sit down and tune into your body. Where in your body, if you close your eyes right now, where in your body can you actually feel that there's tension, right? So let's say it's your shoulders. I'm just picking that, but it could be anywhere in your body. What does it feel like? Is it heavy? Is it tingly? Is it sore? Does it hurt? What is it in your body that's giving you that? Then you can start to ask it questions. What is this about? Could you give me an information about this? What does it feel like? Where is it coming from? And you can start to talk to that part of yourself that really hurts, right? So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing you could do is you can pull out an old picture of yourself when you were a child, and you can look at that. So in this case, I've done this, and I think I chose a picture. I was like about 12 when I was looking at this picture, and it could be younger, it could be older. You're going to choose the picture that is right for you because it always works that way. And you start to talk to that child. You look at the picture. You're basically just looking at the picture and you're talking to the child. And you're saying all the things that you want to hear. Like, you are so beautiful. I am so proud of you. You are the most amazing thing that ever existed. I love you so much. And as I was doing, I'm kind of feeling it now too, I started crying. I cried so hard, but I kept on going. I kept on saying, all the things like, I'm so thankful. You are so amazing. It's not your fault. You're worthy. All these things. And I'm choking up right now. When you do that, when you look into your own eyes in that picture and you start saying that to your child, you will start feeling things release and your child will thank you. And you're going to, as an adult, you're going to be like, yes, I needed this. I needed, and you can hug your inner child as well. That's a very, very powerful practice. And the third thing you could do is you could contact someone who could help you a little bit. So there are healers out there, there are intuitives, there are psychics that can really help you with sitting with your inner child, asking you the right questions, putting you into meditative states so that it's easier for you to talk to your child. And I would recommend that also because it's such a wonderful feeling to have someone else guide you through that process. You feel more held, you feel more, in your own, like you're safe, right? Someone else is helping you through that journey. And in my case, I worked with a woman called Sarah, and I'll leave her information below if you're interested. She's amazing. I love her. I just barely met her, and I felt immediately so protected and safe with her. So I will definitely give you that information if you're interested. If not, find somebody in your community and be sure that you feel safe with them, that you feel protected, that you feel like you're held, right? So these 3 tips I want to give to you. And I cannot speak enough about healing your inner child because there's so much value in that. You'll feel amazing. You'll start to feel lighter. You'll start to feel your emotional patterns drop off as if they didn't exist. You'll start to feel like that procrastination, that codependency is just going to be like, oh yeah, I used to be like that, but like I don't feel that energy anymore. You know, I'm not being pulled in that direction anymore. And it's an incredible feeling to have that like realization, right? That you did something for yourself, and it's so wonderful. If you resonate with this movie, leave a comment below and say, yes, I did this amazing inner child work, and this is what happened, you know, and I'll be so happy to respond to you and have a conversation about that. Also stay tuned, because I'm going to release that inner child meditation for you, so that you can really tune into your body and feel that, and maybe that really help you bring out, you know, it's a good start at least. Lots of love. Namaste. Take care.